All right, there we go. Hey, welcome to the Step It Up Thursday live training. So if you are watching me right now live, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you're watching me later on in your Step It Up profile, excellent. I'm so glad you're part of the Step It Up group and you're taking your practice to the next level with all of the free stuff that I keep packing into your profile. I promise you, I will do a training on how to get through all of that. I think it still might be a little confusing for some folks to log in. You have to go to the Start Here menu. It says number one, start here. When you click there, that's where I put everything. So if you are brand new to the Step It Up group, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you're a 40-hour training graduate, yay. You're going to be getting an email soon so you can become an affiliate. And that means you get to make money when I make money. Such a cool idea. When you get that email, make sure if you have any questions, you email support@katewalkertraining.com. So again, today is the Thursday live training for the Step It Up members in our Facebook group. And you don't have to be on Facebook to get this training. It's a link and you can get that link and from anywhere, right? You don't have to just be here on Facebook. So I'm going to keep an eye out over here for any comments. I'm going to keep an eye over here in case this is slower than this. And so hopefully I'll keep track of everything. If folks want to join, it's easy to do. Here in the Step It Up group, just look for the free training icon and you can, let's see if I can even show you that. Facebook might freak out a bit, but you never know. There it is. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So every Thursday, you'll see this, right? There's an icon or a photograph. It's a free training Thursday, and there's always going to be a link right here so you can join live. If you miss the live, don't click that link. That's just going to take you to an empty waiting room, and I'm not going to be there. You must go to your startup menu into your Step It Up profile. The way to get there, katewalkertraining.com, log in, put in your credentials, and there it is. That's your Step It Up profile, and I'm going to be putting all of these trainings in there so you can have that easy peasy access. Now, today your training is about money. Last week, we finished up the next steps workshops, and we had 3 of those. One was with Cindy Doyle on public speaking. Then we had a second workshop about non-traditional modalities. And then I finished it up on the 7th with adding online courses to your business, because it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. And smarter for me means I'm making enough to feed my family, put my kids in college, and I'm not losing hair, pulling my hair out in the process. I'm still able to go work out. I'm still able to go to the dentist if I need to. I'm still able to get these roots dyed if I need to, right? So that to me is success, and it has to do with money and time. And it often does. So this summer, the dog days of summer, we're going to be talking about all the trainings that you can get if you feel like you're just not quite able to finish those dream piles that you have sitting there. Because I know you want to start that podcast. I know you're dying to take that yoga training and see what that's all about. When you hear Hayden Dornick talk about how he loved walk talk therapy, I know you're going to want to do it, but it's when and how. So today's training about handling money is actually going to be about not handling money. I want you to stop touching it, right? I'm sure you heard that, or you maybe heard other kids heard that as a kid. Stop touching it. Stop. It's going to fall off. You're going to make it worse. Or stop touching your sister, stop touching your brother. Same thing with money. You got to stop touching it. So I'm going to talk about some tools today so that you handle it less. And if you go to Kate Walker Training Facebook page, I am going to post some of my favorite automations. And if you're on my Instagram, I'm going to post those as well. One of my favorites, you're not going to see right now. It's actually the giant chip clip. So let me tell you the story of the giant chip clip. Back in the day, my family, we had swimming pools. So it was wonderful, except when it got a little bit low and you needed to fill it up. So when you needed to fill up that swimming pool, you had to go outside and you had to turn the hose on and just walk away because, it was going to take a couple of hours, right? Well, I'd forget. Dave would forget. We'd take the kids somewhere. And I remember one day I came home and my neighbor Jim had the water department out because he thought there was a busted water main in his front yard. No. It was my pool overflowing into his front yard. I don't remember if I ever came clean with him. Jim, if you're watching, I'm sorry. So the chip clip evolved actually from a friend of mine and her husband. They did the same system. When somebody turns on the hose, you got to wear the clip. It's the clip of shame. You got to walk around all day. Doesn't matter if you go to the grocery store, wherever you're going, you got to wear the clip so you can set it and forget it, because that's what we do as humans. It doesn't mean we're ADD or broken or any of the things. It just means we've got other shit to do. So today I used it with the sprinkler. I'm watching the birds. They're all happy outside. There's a squirrel hanging from my bird feeder, but the grass is greener. Yay. But I didn't flood my lawn because I had the chip clip of shame and I was able to set it and forget it. So when we talk about money, we're going to talk about ways to automate it so you can do that. So you can set it and you can forget it. Number one thing I'm going to talk to you about is the zero-sum budget. Now, I think I covered this in a previous training, but I'm going to go over it again just real quickly. If you're joining me live, welcome. If you are watching the replay, this is just going to be real quick, especially if you've already watched the zero-sum budget training, right? I kind of love the zero-sum budget. I learned it from Dave Ramsey. I have a little crush on Dave, but don't tell Dave. No, Dave knows. So I'm going to share my screen because when I talk about the zero-sum budget, you need to understand where I'm coming from. So a zero-sum budget starts with your household stuff, your household items, not your business. This is for your home. So I came up with a pretend spreadsheet here. I love Excel. So if you look, you remember if you watched this before, I filled out all the numbers for my house budget. Hulu, it's about $14. House payment, $2,000. This is Lampasas, Texas. So I don't know what your house payment is. You plug in the number that makes you happy. Not that makes you happy, but is actually the mortgage. Netflix, health insurance. I'm self-employed. My husband is retired military, so our health insurance is pretty high because we still have to cover my 19-year-old. I do hire someone to come clean my house. Lawn maintenance, we're kind of doing that on our own. Cell phone, of course, I've got a family plan, so lots and lots of lines. Groceries, that is a low estimate, but that's the number that I play with, and I'll show you why. Ditto with gas. I don't go many places, so this is right now not realistic, but you'll see. Car insurance, utilities. We have a couple of car payments. Groceries, again, I divide my zero-sum budget into two parts. So the first part of the month, second part of the month, and then I have an emergency fund, vacation fund, clothing fund, and Dave Ramsey calls it a slush fund. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know what? We feel like going to a movie tonight. Let's go. Or we feel like going and trying that new sushi place. Let's go. So you play with these numbers and you'll get a number down here that is not zero. It is actually a big old number. So obviously, if you're going to go through here and adjust some things, maybe you have 2 car payments, maybe your health insurance is free because, your partner has great benefits on their job. Well, you see how we can play with that until we get that number. Now we go to the checkbook and we plug that number in. Let's see, go back. What did we say? 6,100-ish. So let's just put 6,000. Now we're doing the same thing backwards. We're starting and then we're going to subtract it all. Okay, yeah, I'm $1,000 in the hole. Now what that means is I can go in here and I can say, okay, Kate, no emergencies for you. No vacations for you, no clothes for you, no slush fund for you. Okay, that's looking better. And by the way, let's go up here and reduce those. Actually, let's just stop driving. There we go. $19 over. Okay, fine. You can drive for $119. Zero. That is a zero sum budget. All right. So take a look at that. Look at the replay, hit rewind, go back and look at the training on money. So when I talk about, I'm going to stop the share. When I talk about a zero sum budget, I'm talking about basically your expenses are prepaid. It's done. You're not thinking, oh gosh, I wonder if I can pay the utility bill this month. No, you're saying, okay, this money, I need $6,000, period. And that didn't even include, emergency funds, clothes, and a vacation, right? So maybe you need closer to $8,000 a month. So what do you need in your family to make sure that your bills are paid? Now, in my book, My Next Steps, Create a Counseling Career You'll Love, I talk about the financial bridge that your partner can offer if you are making that transition to private practice, or you're making the transition from insurance to cash pay, or anytime you're changing your business model. You want to make sure you have the financial support of a supportive partner. And then once you do that, it makes it a lot less headachy when you're trying to put all of this together, right? Because if you have a need for $7,000 and your practice isn't there yet, well, then there's just no getting around it. You're going to need an influx of cash. So that's not what this is about. This is about if your practice is pulling in, let's say, $10,000 a month. What are you going to do to make sure that your quarterly taxes get paid, your SEP IRA gets paid, all of these little slush funds, clothing, vacations, the dentist, your weddings, new houses for your kids, I don't know, whatever it is that your dream is to be able to be a generous, abundant person, right? So the first bit of automation besides the chip clip of shame is an automated checking account, just pulling that money out without you even knowing it. So I use Capital One. Capital One is great. They don't pay me to talk about this, but Capital One is what I love. And when I have my Capital One, what I love about them, I can have two checking accounts, so personal and a business account, but I can have unlimited savings accounts. And those savings accounts can be set up as an auto transfer. So I can set that up once a month. I can set it up once a week. Whenever I want to, I can set up the auto transfer. So guess what the names of my other savings accounts are? Vacation, quarterly taxes, emergency fund. Every single savings account has a name. So when I get paid, right, part of that money goes directly into those accounts and it populates. And I don't have to think about it, right? I know right now I have $1,000 sitting in an emergency fund. So if that sprinkler out there breaks and I flood the sidewalk and the city comes and is like, hey, hey, Kate, we need you to fix the sidewalk that you just totally caved in. I've got $1,000, right? Is it my deductibles? No. So maybe I want to increase that emergency fund to the amount of my deductible, right? I mean, that makes sense if you have homeowners insurance. So tool number one, automated savings accounts for important things like quarterly taxes, your retirement, emergency funds, anything that you know that could go wrong, right? It's your own personal insurance before your actual insurance kicks in. All right. Number two tool. This is going to seem obvious to so many of you, but it took me a while. Automated bill payments. All right, let's go back to that zero sum budget. If you already know that your car payment is this and it comes out on the 15th, and your house payment is that and it comes out on the 1st, automate it. Set it and forget it. Your zero sum budget is made. You already know you're going to be able to eat this month. You're going to be able to keep the lights on. You're going to be able to, do whatever it is that you need to do, right? Because you put in every single expense. It is prepaid and you are rewarded with a big old zero at the bottom that says you did a good job. So that means you can automate those bill payments. Get it out of your head, set it and forget it. Now things like your utility bill, Of course, that's going to probably need your eyes on it every month. Hopefully not your cell phone bill. Hopefully your cell phone bill stays the same every month. But I bet most of your bills you can set and forget. So get rid of them, set them, forget them. Now, the third tool, I'm going to call this 3, but I'll probably have point 1 and point 2. You're investing. Okay, I know it is so tempting to do the Bitcoin and the, what is it? The Dog Star, David, Sirius. I don't know. They all have different names now. Playing in the stock market, dabbling and doing all the things. Stop touching it. Self-employed folks like you and I, we have something that we can invest in called a SEP, SEP IRA. If you have kiddos, you can start something called a 529 that will save for their college. These investments do a couple of things. Number one, they're not tax deductible. They lower your taxable income. That's the SEP IRA. The 529, when it gets dispersed to your kiddo, won't be taxed, right? It's not counted as income as long as it goes toward college, right? And education or trade school or whatever it is that they're doing. So those investments, I want you to think of as non-negotiable. You have to use your working years above ground to fund your disabled years above ground. You've heard me talk about this before. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can go back and look at the different things, the trainings that I've done. Hopefully I've posted them in your Step It Up profile. You must fund a retirement plan. Okay. And how much can you fund in a SEP IRA? Depending on the year, the Fed comes out and says, how much is the max? I think right now it's 58,000 is the max. Most of us don't hit that. You might, that's great. But your accountant, when they do your taxes, will be able to say, hey, Bob, you can fund $21,000 towards your SEP this year. Congratulations. Now, you have to fund the SEP before you file your taxes. You can't do it backwards. So you want to make sure that you talk to your accountant and your trusted financial advisor about that. But it is non-negotiable. So how should you think about that, right? So this is kind of tool 3.1. If your client pays you $1, approximately 10% of that needs to go toward your IRA, right? Your investment, whatever that is, your 529, your future, right? So they didn't pay you $1, right? They paid you 90 cents. Think of it like 90 cents. If you have high interest credit cards or high interest loans that you're trying to pay down, if you have a credit card at 25% interest, let's say that you're at like about 20 grand, 30 grand, you're paying like a generous car payment every single month on that credit card. So imagine when you pay that off, that's money in your pocket. So again, that client paid you $1. It's not really $1. It's 90 cents. Now take another 10 cents off of that and give that to paying down your credit card. Now 20% of your check gone. 20% of that client income is gone. Don't even think about it, right? Now your quarterly taxes. Let's go look. You guys remember how to do this, right? If you don't, go back and look at a replay, or I'll just tell you real quick. If you don't know your tax bracket, you take your family income for last year and you go to the Google machine and you say, Google tax bracket for 2021. And you'll go in and you'll see for a household income, filing single, filing jointly, yada, 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 exactly how much of your household income will go toward taxes. So let's say it's about 21%. Well, go ahead and round that to 20%. Ooh, all right. Now that dollar is getting smaller and smaller, isn't it? So the client pays you $1. 20% of it is going to go toward Uncle Sam, your quarterly taxes. You're going to take another 10% of that, put it towards your retirement. And then we said, another 10% toward your high interest credit card. So really, that's looking more like about 58 cents out of that $1 that's actually going towards, you're ready for it, drum roll. You're taking that 58 cents and you're plugging it in to that household budget, that zero sum budget. This is what you're bringing to the table. So when you go to make your zero sum budget, don't take all the money that you're going to make this month. because it's not yours. Not all of it is yours, right? We know that right off the top, the quarterly taxes have to go into a savings account. Pull it out. We know your SEP has to be funded. Pull it out, put it in another account until you're ready to send it off. You know that you have to pay off credit cards or whatever that is. Create an account. Capital One is free. Remember, they don't charge you to set up all these savings accounts. Auto pull, auto pull, auto pull. Get them out of sight, out of mind. Get them away. And then, you know what? You're really not making $10,000 a month, are you? You're making about $5,800 a month. And then you can plug that in to the zero sum budget and stop playing catch up. Stop pulling your hair out. Stop thinking you're not making enough money, because you are. You're a boss. You can do this. You can take your practice. You just have to remember, as you build the branches, right? As you start adding these amazing things, these wonderful ideas that you have, each one of those is going to bring in income, which will increase your tax bracket. And that's okay. That's a good thing. I mean, it's not great, right? I mean, depending on, well, I'm not going to get into politics, but yes, you want to make more money, because if you're now making $20,000 a month, we do the same math. We take off 20% ish. Now you're putting $10,000 into your family's zero sum budget. Go you. Excellent. Great job. Now, I know just the littlest, tiniest bit of this stuff. If you want more information, I'm going to share my screen. And those of you who know me know that I love a guy named Tim Ferriss. I'm kind of a fangirl. So Tim Ferriss has a YouTube channel. He has of course, he's got a webpage, but he interviewed Ramit Sethi, automating finances, negotiating prenups, and more. The Tim Ferriss Show. It's really funny. He actually films it in Austin. But this is the guru of automating finances. And I'm going to include this link, the link to the YouTube interview that he did. It's part of his podcast. I'm going to include that in the Step It Up group so that you'll have that. I'm also going to post it here so that you can have it here. And if you're in Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, I'm going to post it in that thread as well, because if you came to one of my workshops, you know you cannot hinder another person's work with a paywall, right? This isn't my work. This is somebody else's work. So you can get it for free on Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses. Or if you're like me and you just kind of like to have it at your fingertips, get it here, or log into katewalkertraining.com and get into your profile. Get in there and dig around. You got that email this week. Don't just dig a hole. Get in there, dig a pond, right? Let's go dive in. All right. Thanks for watching. This is Kate Walker for the Step It Up Training, Thursday training. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been about stop touching your money. I am going to, what am I doing? Got to get back to here. Stop the share. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.